Classical versus popular music. The line between classical and popular music is often blurred. Classical music is generally considered music art, while popular music is seen as commercial music. The two genres contrast, where classical music is more complex while popular music is simpler and more accessible. There are, of course, exceptions to these generalizations. Some popular music is highly complex, and some classical music is quite simple. And while classical music is typically associated with elites, a growing movement of middle-class and working-class people is passionate about classical music. Still, classical and popular music generally differ in terms of their origins, purpose, and audience. Classical music is typically associated with Western art music, while popular music is usually seen as a product of commercialization. Let's dig deeper in comparison. Classical music is vast and not only confined to the classical era. Classical music is a genre of music that encompasses various styles and dates back centuries. It is characterized by complex melodies, harmonies, and intricate rhythms. Whereas, popular music is a genre of music that is widely known and liked by the masses. It characterizes simple melodies, harmonies, and rhythms. The main difference between classical and popular music is their respective audiences. Classical music is usually enjoyed by older generations or people with a higher level of education, while popular music appeals to younger people. It is believed that popular music is favored over classical music. To some extent, we can hold this statement true, especially if the popularity of a genre is measured in terms of streaming preferences. Popular music is a concept that is notoriously difficult to define. In the broadest sense, it can be described as music enjoyed by the general public or with mass appeal. But what makes a piece of music popular? Is it the artist who performs it, the number of people who buy it, or the amount of airplay it gets on the radio? In other words, until the advent of blues and jazz, classical music was the popular music of the time. One key difference is that much of the classical repertoire was composed for society's influential class, whereas popular music speaks to the masses. Suppose you read Beethoven's, Mozart's, and Haydn's works, you'll realize that these composers composed works commissioned from the ruling classes. Appreciation for talent and art was always secondary. If we trace this claim back to the Renaissance, we find that most music was written for rich patrons. Today the distinction and favoritism for the elite are non-existent in music. With easy access to music schools and private music sessions, presently, there are more musicians worldwide than ever before. Consideration is one of the structural focuses of classical and popular music. If you dissect popular music, you can find extreme diversity from hip-hop to techno, trance, dubstep, ambient, rap, rock, jazz, blues, R&B, etc. Popular music is primarily based on binary, AB, or ternary, ABA, structures. The jazz standard is ABA. Most songs today are ABA 2-ba 3b, where A equals a verse and B is the chorus. Sometimes popular music will have the addition of bridges and pre-choruses. This is a structural distinction between the two music structures with evidently more diversity in popular music. These structures are a frame for composers. The song focuses on words and how they are sung or rapped, with the music providing a backdrop or support. In contrast, classical music focuses on the music itself and how it's played. The words are secondary and often in a different language. This, in turn, leads to a more complex use of musical ideas in classical music. Popular music is closer to this model. It layers ostinato and multiple vocal parts, easily identified in the work of artists like Björk and Eno. Except for jazz, the harmonic instrumentalization of popular music is substantially different from classical music. Since the early 1940s, jazz has incorporated more advanced harmonic progressions and structures into songs. The commonality between popular and classical music is Western tonality, which gives both listener groups a sense of stability and resolution. Popular music also uses a wider range of instruments than classical music. Electric guitars, saxophones, and synthesizers are all commonly used in popular music, while classical music is typically performed with acoustic instruments. The typical instrumentation of a symphony orchestra is not found in many popular music genres. However, certain film scores, video game soundtracks, and EDM tracks will feature full orchestras. Artists like Ornette Coleman, John Coltrane, Charles Mingus, and Miles Davis, to name but a few, have pushed the boundaries of jazz structurally and harmonically. Popular music adopts a less challenging approach to harmony. It is tonal and often highly derivative. Certain chord progressions are ingrained into popular music, especially the passage of 1 to 5 to 6 to 4. This does not trivialize popular music but merely points out a difference with classical music. The purpose of popular music is ultimately to sell records, not please a court of highly influential elites. Most classical music today is tonal, and with the popularity of minimalism as a genre, we can predict that tonal music is here to stay. Even within the safe tonal sounds of classical music, the harmonic exploration variation dominates. Take as an example a song by Schubert, say Die Forel, Opus 32, D/550, and a song by Bruno Mars, like Count on Me. Schubert uses the piano to conjure the singer's voice, creating considerable textural diversity. At the same time, Bruno Mars uses different production techniques to vary his verse-chorus song. Different as they may be, classical and popular music now exist comfortably beside one another. Some artists like Sting and Bruce Springsteen have successfully straddled both worlds. And as music streaming services make a wider range of music easily accessible, the popularity of classical music will likely continue to grow. Maybe the message is to be open to all kinds of music and enjoy as much of it as possible.